Hello, everyone. This is Helene, and we are getting ready to start our Facebook Live on how you can create the projects you want, how you can really make them happen on time instead of procrastinating. So I'm glad to see you here, and we're going to get going. I'm going to kind of just talk a little bit about a few different things before so other people can join us. All right, so let's see who's here. Okay. There we go. I'm so glad you're here. Today, what we're going to do is we're covering your ability to follow through on things, on projects, on tasks, on things that you haven't been doing that you say you want to do. In other words, we're dealing with procrastination. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that there have been times in my life that I procrastinated. And first, what I'd like to do is share a little bit about who I am for those of you who don't know me yet. I'm Helene Harris, and I'm an intuitive healer, psychotherapist, and a spiritual business coach, actually a master spiritual business coach. And what I love to do is inspire you and empower clients to transform their lives, relationships and finances, even their businesses, so they can have what they want. What really thrills me is being able to heal those heart wounds in here, so that you know you are a beautiful soul and you deserve to have everything you want. That's for your highest good, okay? And also, I want you to know that the core of your whole being, the core of you is actually love. The other thing I love working with is awakening power. Because if your power isn't awakened and if you haven't done things so that you feel safe and strong and clear to speak out or go after what you want, it doesn't happen. And then years later, you're wondering why you don't have what you want. No, there are many people I've worked with where they allow that default in life to just happen, where life just does things to them and they do it or they don't do it. They get a job because that's what was available, even though it's not what they wanted to do. Or they do what someone else told them to do. Sometimes parents when they're younger, sometimes a partner when they're older, a husband, a wife, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or someone else. Or their school told them this is the way to go. And it wasn't what they're meant to do. So as they get older, what happens is they don't feel fulfilled. And what I love to help people with is finding the work they're meant to do. Because when we do what we're meant to do, it doesn't feel like work. Now, that doesn't mean there are some tasks we don't like. I mean, I still don't like doing all the writing and business work and that kind of stuff. But what I love doing is doing what I'm doing now. I love working with people. All right, that's what thrills me. It thrills me to have people progress. It thrills me to have them shift their belief system inside, their mindset, and their energy in their body so that they can truly have what they want and have what they're meant to do and be. And also, it works much better for people when they're able to go out there in the world and do their life's work or their purpose work, whatever you wish to call it, because that is what gives you true fulfillment. Yes, we all want to have money, or most people do, and that is important, especially if you live in California, the Los Angeles area. You definitely need money to live there, here. But we also want that fulfillment. And no matter where we are in life, I've found as I've gotten older that when I'm doing what I love doing, there's something magical that happens. And I can't always identify what it is. It's like, when two or more people are here in my name, so am I. And I feel that's what happens. Spirit comes in, God comes in, and helps us. All right. So in fact, that's what I'm going to have us start with now. So I'm going to make a suggestion. I'm going to call in spirit and guides, and I'm going to suggest you call in your own, whether you want to repeat some of what I'm saying or whether you choose your own words. It doesn't make a difference. What is important is to use words you're comfortable with, because it will resonate with you at a deeper level. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is take in a few deep breaths. And we bring our hearts together, as I call in the light of love, and the light of spirit. I call in God. I call in source energy. Whether you like using words like the light or the universe, whatever resonates deeply inside your being is what will work best for you. So I encourage you to do that. And I call in the healing team and the angels, the archangels, Michael and Raphael and Uriel and Gabriel, to bring your energies here for each one that's here and each one that listens and watches later, so that they can have healing for them, for their highest good. And I ask to have the energy transcend and be in the recording that will be downloaded for people later, because that's so important to really have that energy here for healing. Okay. So some of you may ask, I don't procrastinate, at least not much. I eventually get things done. But what I find is everyone procrastinates sometimes. It becomes a problem when you're doing it habitually. When out of habit, you're putting off things that need your attention now. Right? Or you keep procrastinating the next day and the next day, and I'll do it later. And you see, I know I've also done that myself. I've especially done it when I haven't liked what I'm doing, when I felt I needed to do it and I didn't want to. And the interesting thing is I had to accept eventually that I will never love doing some tasks, and I don't have to love them, but I need to do them. I still need to get the paperwork done to pay my taxes. I don't have to do all the work, but I have to get it ready for my CPA, okay, or my bookkeeper, whoever I'm having in charge of really doing it for me. But I have to do my part. It's not so good if I don't want to have those problems if I don't handle that, okay? So I don't have to love doing it, but I need to set aside the time. And I found for me that when I get it done on time, meaning before the April deadline, I feel better. Yes, when I've had to or different business things occurred, I would get an extension. But I find inside I feel better when I don't need to. So some of looking at what needs to be done for you and when is important because of how you feel about it. If you feel okay in putting it off, or sometimes it'll serve you better, that's one thing. I realize, excuse me, I'm going to take some water. I've been wanting to get my new website done for quite a while, and it hasn't happened. And I realized recently it's because I wasn't clear on the direction I wanted to go. And until I'm clear on that, I can't get the writing done. And I need to allow, I've needed to allow like time for birthing something different and new. And that can't always go on a schedule, even though I wanted it on a schedule, okay? But some things definitely need to be done on time, whatever the time is. So most people think that procrastination is about time management. I found that's not really true, okay? We're going to get into in a bit why it's so important. So first I want to see who's here and who would like to say hello. Excuse me. Okay. Oops. Okay. Oops. Okay. I was on the wrong page to get to it, so I couldn't see who's here. All right. Diane's here. Jamie. Hi. I'm so glad you're joining us. It's good to see you. All right. So let's keep going. So, why is it important to deal with procrastination? There are a number of reasons I found. First, it's a surefire way to sabotage your success by distracting you from doing what you want in your business, in your job or career, or in your life, either way. And if you own your own business, as I do, and I work with a number of clients who do, you will lose clients and opportunities and money by putting aside important tasks. Now, there really is a difference with chronic procrastinators, those that procrastinate most of the time. And it really becomes a dysfunctional lifestyle, such as not paying bills on time or forgetting to cash checks. I've had clients tell me that they found months later, and in some cases a couple of years later, checks that they never cashed. And I hate to tell you, but if a check is over a year or two old, banks aren't likely to cash them, okay? And there's actually another effect from procrastinating. I read somewhere it's called the Zeigarnik effect. I may be saying it wrong. Zeigarnik effect. It's where unfinished tasks, the ones you usually procrastinate about, they tend to kind of float around in your brain, in your mind, in your memory, and they nag at you all day long. They create a negative energy. They create negative feelings. They cause actually guilt and shame. So what I'd like you to do now is kind of look at some of the tasks that you've needed to get done, that you didn't get done when you wanted to, when you told yourself you would, and what happened because of it, okay? And it's a terrible feeling when we do that, because we begin feeling we're not good enough, we're bad, and all the negative things run through our head. And maybe you're needing to write something. It's like I've been wanting to write an ebook recently, okay? Haven't done it yet. And it hasn't been my primary focus either. But part of what happens for me is I look at, well, it's not going to be different from anyone else's. These many people have written about procrastination, or especially for me, intuition. Instead of looking at, and I've helped clients with the same issue, what else could I say that I haven't said before? What else can they say? What else can you say that you haven't said before? Because when you say it, it's in your words. It's in your energy system. It will be different from anyone else's. And the other thing, my business clients have said, well, what happens if I do it and no one wants it? Or what happens if I ask a person for something and they say no? Well, if they say no, you go on to the next person or people that you can speak to. And it frees you because they're off your list now, okay? The other thing I find that gets in the way is that perfectionist persona, okay? So we intend to work on something, we'll say emails or writing something. And then what happens is we start looking at other emails, or we start looking at something other people have done or written, and we think automatically we're not good enough, right? So, or 2 hours later, you're still looking at emails. Have you ever found you do that? Let's see how many. Let me know in the box there, in the chat box, how many of you have wound up just looking at emails and not doing what you were going to do? All right. A couple of you have said that. Oh, yeah. Yes, Carol, she said that. And Joy said that. Well, that'll completely make you not joyful. Hi, Carol. All right. So when we actually keep doing that and we're looking at other people's things like emails or anything else that are time waster energies. It's taking away from what we could do. And there's one thing I want to assure you of, is that if you have this issue that yours isn't good enough, or something you're doing isn't good enough, or the project you're working on isn't good enough, okay? We have what we call the perfection persona, the perfectionist persona. And the problem with that is you'll never be good enough according to you, because there are always people who could do it better, fresher, newer, or thinner, taller, or whatever else you're comparing yourself to. So we don't want to get into that, because it's very painful when we do that. Have you noticed? All right. So here's what I want you to think about. Stop the perfectionist trap. Just stop. Whether you have to put the hand up in front of yourself and say stop, or get a stop sign on your computer on an image and put it up there. Stop. Because the comparison will take you down. We will never measure up, especially as women, as we get older. We will never be 25 again. We won't look the way we did at 25. And maybe even at 25, we didn't look good enough in our own eyes. So that's a trap, and it takes you down, and it can take you down permanently if you let it. So why do people procrastinate? All right, there are a number of reasons I've found, and I'd like to hear from you what your reasons are. So please put them in the chat box, and I'll let other people know. Or you can let me know after on email at support@hzharris.com. All right, the reasons why people procrastinate are: one, it's a learned response, and it can be unlearned. Most people usually learn it from their parents. These are behaviors they've seen their parents do. Not dealing with something because they didn't like it. You know, the big fights over money, maybe they didn't deal with the monthly bills regularly, so then there were problems. Or someone wasn't taking out the trash when they should have, or the lawn didn't get watered, or whatever it is. So notice if you grew up with parents who sometimes or regularly procrastinated. All right? The other thing I found is sometimes a response to authoritarian parenting styles, okay? If you have a very strict parent, whether it's mother or father, or a very strict church, or a very strict school you went to, and there's an authority over your head saying, you've got to do this now or else, all right? And they don't give you good reasons why you might want to do it, like, you'll enjoy reading this book. This is a really great biography, and it'll be fun to find out how this person lives, okay? That gives you a reason or motivation to want to read a book, okay? But if you've had very strong authority figures in your life, sometimes the perfectionist, or the, shall I say, the one we're dealing here, the procrastination, is about rebellion. And you really have a persona who wants to rebel against all this pushing you did. I mean, I have a client, actually I've had a couple of clients who went through this, where they had to do a lot of chores and cooking when they were a child. And what do you think they did when they got older and had their own home and family? They did very little of it. It's like, I don't have to do it now. It's my home. So there. So I won't. Okay? That is okay to a degree, but sometimes that rebellious aspect isn't serving you. Sometimes it is. So you have to look a little bit deeper to see, how can you undo the authority telling you so that you can tell yourself, this is what I choose to do because it'll help my business, because I'll deal with taxes faster so I don't have to go into guilt and have it weighing on my mind every day, or whatever it is, right? And the one activity that procrastinators do, and I want to know how you do yours, is they look for distractions. So what are your favorite distractions? I know when I've needed to write something and I didn't really want to do it, or I wasn't sure the way I was going to do it, which is often what makes me stall on things when I've done it, is I get tons of emails. Well, that day I might actually look at the emails because sometimes I have 300-400 in a day and sometimes more. So that can take hours actually. But I'm doing work. I'm doing business, I can tell myself, right? So what are your distractions that you have used? Let's see. Let's have you put it in the chat box. I'd love to find out what some of you are using for distractions. All right, so let's see. Oh. Jane said, calling people on the phone when I need to be doing other things. All right, that's another way. What's yours? Because it's important to look at what you use to distract yourself. I've had a number of clients and what they use to distract themselves. I have to take care of my aunt. I need to go there every day. Well, maybe the aunt really doesn't need you to go there every day, but you use that as an excuse maybe not to get something done for you that's very significant and important. Or sometimes a family member keeps calling. I had one client, actually a couple of clients, where as soon as they were getting ready to take their business to another level, one of their parents would keep calling them about a crisis, an emergency. Okay? The water cooler broke, or the sprinkler broke, or the toilet isn't working, whatever it was, just to get them down. So the parent was using them to stall, to take care of their needs, mainly because they really wanted to see them. But then that person, that client, did not get their business off the ground when they wanted to. Now, every now and then the person really does need caretaking, but sometimes, and so if you're doing this, I want you to really look at it, it's a cop-out. Sometimes that person can have their needs met with other people helping out. And maybe you're taking it on so you can just say, oh, this is what I have to do, so I can't create my new project or my new business. And maybe, just maybe, that project or that business or what you're planning on working on instead would bring you a sense of fulfillment that nothing else will. Because when we do something that we're meant to do, that's our higher self calling from a deep level inside us. The joy and the magnificence of that can't be compared to anything else. All right? So just a thought. I want you to keep that in mind. Okay. Oh, I wanted to share with you signs of a real procrastinator, according to Joseph Ferrari. He's a PhD and he's associate professor of psychology at DePaul University in Chicago. Now, he believes that there are certain things that real procrastinators tell themselves, and he sees it as 5 lies. So I want you to look at, do you tell yourself any of these lies, okay? 1, they overestimate the time they have left to perform tasks. Do you tend to do that? Now, I know years ago when I was much younger, I tended to do that. I often overestimated the time I had left. And actually, on some things that I've been doing online in business, I didn't know how long certain things took. I thought creating a whole new online launch of a new program could be done in a month. Well, if I really want to do it right, it can take really 2 or 3 months. Oh, what a shock. I couldn't do everything I wanted and I couldn't do it as well as I wanted. So I've learned now. All right. So where are the areas that you're overestimating the time left to perform tasks? Let's see if anyone's going to share this online. Okay, I'm taking a look. when I do that to see if anyone is sharing that. All right, not yet. But really, this is very important to look at. The next thing, and it's a really big thing, is they underestimate the time it takes to complete tasks. Oh, that's a big one. You know, I guess I've had to deal with a lot of things in my life about getting things done when I wanted. Many, many years ago, probably over 30 years ago, we would have family events, and I would show up regularly a half hour to an hour late. I had to finish a client, I had to take care of a business call, I had to whatever, okay? And it hurt my family. It hurt them a lot. But I would do this. And one day I decided, okay, that's enough. Because when I looked at all the tasks, actually, this is when I was teaching, so it was well over 35 years ago, okay? I would look at the task I planned to do at the end of the day before I got home to the kids. And I realized I would figure this appointment, this doctor appointment, shop for food. I didn't allow driving time. All right, you might laugh at that. It certainly is laughable now to me, but I figured it takes 20 minutes in the store, driving there and back, I didn't figure, etc. And so I had people very upset with me. Now, the thing that I did to turn that around was I worked with a therapist at the time, and we did some very deep work to get inside what that was about. And I found for me, there were two reasons why I always did those things. And one was, if I was ready on time and waiting for people, like they're going to come to my house and pick me up to go somewhere, I would get so anxious. My anxiety was so great in those days that I couldn't stand it. So I would have to be doing something, all right? So I'd start something, then I wouldn't be finished when they came, right? So that's one of the things. But the other one was my mother was very controlling. And things had to be done just when she said it, even if it didn't make a difference. I really could take out the trash, for example, an hour later. It wouldn't have made a difference. So my anger about that, so the rebel came out in me. And it's like, okay, screw you. I'm going to do it when I want. And lo and behold, I found that the patterning would continue and it wasn't serving me. So once I got to the core reason, and there were actually a few other things connected to it, I changed the pattern. Now I'm always on time for dinners and arrangements with people, and that feels so much better. I'm not anxious about it. They're not angry at me, and that's a good thing. So I want you to look at, where do you overestimate the time for things to get done or underestimate the time? The other thing, the other lie that people tell themselves is they overestimate how motivated they will feel the next day, the next week, the next month, whenever they're putting things off to do it. So they say, I don't feel like doing it today. I'll feel more motivated tomorrow morning. I'm tired now. I want to watch a TV show. It's late at night or whatever. Or I'll be more motivated next week after, I don't know, something. All right. So notice if you do something like that for you. Now, the next lie people tell themselves is they mistakenly think that succeeding at a task requires that they feel like doing it. Well, sometimes with creative writing and creative coming up with things, it helps if I'm motivated. But sometimes I have to just set the time and say, okay, I'm going to go inside to my heart, to my higher self, and I'm going to do this now. It's like, oh, I'm doing this Facebook Live. If I want to give you some valuable information, I have to sit down and do it. It's not going to happen otherwise. All right. So take a look at that if that's one of the lies you tell yourself. The other lie that chronic procrastinators tell themselves is they mistakenly believe that working when not in the mood is suboptimal. Well, but there are things you can do to put you in the mood. If you're doing creative work and you're trying to come up with a new idea, a new project, or writing something, or creating music or dance, or a new art form, whatever it may be, your emotions and mood make a difference. But as we grow older, we tend to know how to get us in the mood, right? That's part of preparation. We can use music, we can use candles, we can use pictures, whatever works for you. So that is very critical, okay? All right. Now, procrastinators really look for distractions. So they don't have to deal with a heavy duty commitment. All right. The ones where it takes some work. And the secret that's important is they distract themselves as a way of regulating. I want you to hear me, to regulate their own emotions, such as fear of failure or fear of success. So I want you to look at if you have fear of failure or fear of success and where that comes in for you. Okay. Oops. All right. So now let's see if anyone is sharing. Write down if you have fear of failure or fear of success. Okay? Let's see. I always have to refresh the Facebook page to see who else is saying hello or writing in. And Jenny says hello. Oh, good. Hi there. Oh, good. All right. So now let's talk about a way to manage your procrastination. Because as you can tell, I've needed to do it many times in my life. And I keep changing, so I keep needing to refresh what I do and find ways to deal with things when I'm getting stuck and having difficulties. The other thing I've learned is that when you have a business, even sometimes on a job, there are many times you're going to feel stuck. And that's just part of dealing with things in life. You know, it's if you run a house, okay? I mean, I've had a couple of kids. They're not living at home now. They're much older and on their own. They're adults. They have their own families, okay? There is so much to do in creating a household and cooking and cleaning and getting things done, whether you do it yourself or you make sure it's done. Either way, that it's never-ending jobs. So it's like, oh my gosh, we feel like we're never-ending sometimes, never-ending with work. So the big thing, the first thing to do, and it's what some of you may procrastinate on doing, is to create a list. Make a list of everything you have to do. Now, I don't know if you like to-do lists or not. I've used them at different points. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But the one thing I found is very, very critical is I need to have in mind the 2 or 3 or 4 things that I must get done today. Whether I write it down or say it, somewhere I have to keep track of them. And there's something very rewarding about checking off something when it's done on a list or putting a star when it's done, however you want to do it. So the other thing that happens with this, and it's part of what we've talked about a bit, is people estimate the time of, you have to estimate the time of you think it will take to complete a project. And then someone had a suggestion, and I like it. Then increase the amount by 100%. Do you hear me? You double the amount that it'll take. Because I found most things that I think I can get done in a half hour, an hour, if I'm writing an email or writing a thank you letter or whatever it might be, or a launch page or anything like that, it's at least double time. So double your time. Give yourself extra time. It just doesn't take 5 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour. It can take a lot longer. The next step is write down your intention. What's your intention? What do you want to accomplish by the end of today? And when do you want, or just in general? So see, some tasks on a to-do list aren't just for today. They might be for a whole month. Well, I need to call the plumber. I need to call the handyman and have him fix the light outside my door, my front door. Okay? So some things like that get put on a list. It doesn't mean I'm going to do them today, but I need them done soon. If not by me, fortunately, by someone. So that's some of what we get to do. See, we don't have to do everything on our own list. We'll say that again. We don't have to do everything on our own list. We could delegate. The more I've run a business, the more I've learned how to delegate. So delegate it, but you have to come up with your intention. I want that light by my front door soon. All right, it doesn't have to be today, but it needs to be soon. All right, so you get to delegate what you don't want to do. But you may need it on a list so that you get the person to delegate it to. If my plumbing wasn't working, I have to call a plumber. Well, then when that didn't do it, I had to have the whole sewer redone. Well, I'm not going to do it, I assure you. But it was a lot of work to get the right person. Okay? So those are the things that go on a to-do list. But you also want to look at what do you want to accomplish today? Because that might just be a few things, whereas the bigger list might be for the week or the month or what you need to get done soon. Oh, I better get the trees trimmed, especially if we have more rains and winds here in Southern California, okay? The next thing I want you to look at is set realistic goals. If you're saying you want to make more money and you're making, let's say, $40,000, how much more do you want to make by the end of the year? Well, if you're used to only bringing in $40,000 a year, you may not get to a place of bringing in $1 million by the end of the year. That would not be realistic. So maybe we're in May, so we're a little under halfway through the year. So if you're bringing in, let's say, $40,000, and you want to increase your income, maybe you say by the end of the year, you want to bring in a total of $60,000 or $75,000. That's a more doable goal than saying you want to make $1 million by the end of the year when you have no clue how to do it. So set a realistic goal. So if you need to create a project that you're working on, or you know the project you want to work on, and it's a book, maybe you start with a 4 or 5 page ebook so that you can make it simpler for you instead of a 200-page book. All right? So set a realistic goal. And when you're thinking and doing some of the projects, here's what I want you to do. I want you to notice if you're doing a time waster task instead of doing your important project. And the next step in dealing with procrastination is look at the underlying reasons. Now, I've already shared with you some of my underlying reasons for procrastinating at different points. Now, I found this often comes down to a couple of things, 2 reasons basically. One, something is either unpleasant for you or it's overwhelming. All right, if it's an unpleasant task, that can be handled. Think of ways to motivate you to start. Reward yourself for a task done, for completion, and delegate what you can to others. I'm not ready to go, when my air conditioning wasn't working, I wasn't ready to go up on the roof to see what was wrong. Wasn't going to happen, okay? I called someone to do that. I didn't do it. But I had to make sure the call was done. I had to check out who would be good to call. So that's part of it. So with an unpleasant task, think of how you can reward yourself when it's done. All right, maybe you don't even like making phone calls to those people who can take over a job for you. So how can you reward you? Walk around the block when you're done? Or can you reward you with taking a half hour to watch your favorite TV show or listen to some good music? or take a nice relaxing bath with some body salts in it, bath salts in it, and also some lavender oil. Would that be your reward? So think of something to reward you with when you finish an unpleasant task. All right. Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed, it's a little bit different. It requires a slightly different approach. And one of them is to break the project into smaller, tiny, manageable chunks and specific steps, okay? Because sometimes you're looking at, okay, I want to write a book. Well, writing a book can be overwhelming if this is what you think you want to do. But if you break it down and, what I want to do first is create an outline of the different chapters, okay? That's more doable. And it's a smaller task. So think of that. How can you make it into smaller chunks? Okay. The other thing is start with easy ones first, so you have a sense of achievement. Then the project won't seem so huge for you. Another step in handling procrastination is creating the right space for you. Get rid of anything that's blocking you from achieving your goals. See, a lack of organization leads to chaos and confusion for not just those with ADHD or ADD or right brain people, but for just about anyone, okay? So when I'm trying to create, I get better at clearing my desk. Sometimes by the end of a day or a few days, it can get really full of all these papers. I'm in the middle of this. I finish it, I put it here, I put it there. All right. And then it's overwhelming because I need space for my brain to focus on what I want to get done. And otherwise, that overwhelm will happen. So we want to create a space that feels good for you. So how can you clear out the space where you do a lot of your work so you can feel better? I was looking for a folder the other day, and in doing so, I had to go through some drawers I hadn't been in for years. I looked at that and said, I don't need any of that, and I just filled trash cans. It felt so good to do that. Maybe that's what you need to do someplace or somewhere. All right. The next step is a reward. Promise yourself a reward when you do something, once you complete it, once you finish it. We all need rewards. And sometimes it can be even a small piece of chocolate. Dark chocolate, it's healthier, okay? Whatever it is for you. And I know I mentioned that before. Oh, there's another thing I suggest you do with your list of to-dos, is eliminate the tasks you never planned to do. And be honest with you. How many times have you put out a task that you never planned to do? Wow, I had no idea how long I've been talking. Okay, we need to get to our process. All right. So let's see. Anyone want to share specifically what your difficulty with procrastination is? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a process on dealing with the part of you, the subpersonality, if you will, that has difficulty in completing a task, okay? That doesn't get things done on time, and we're going to go into it so that we can help you get to it. Okay, are you ready? So get comfortable. You might even want to sit back from the computer for a bit so that you can go inside and close your eyes and take in a few deep breaths and let them out. And begin to relax. We've already opened and called in your guides. So now what we're going to do is imagine breathing in a beautiful light, beautiful colors of ribbons of energy from above your head, from spirit. So close your eyes and just imagine beautiful flowing colors, your favorite colors, and let those colors of ribbon flow in and around your body, relaxing you. Breathing in that light from God, let it move down and around your body, relaxing all the muscles. Let that light enter in through the crown of your head, relaxing you, letting go, letting go. And feel that light beginning to move down, 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 relaxing the muscles in your head and your face and your jaw and your neck. That's it. Just let go, letting go. And if you wish to call in your guides again to make sure they're with you, then do so. Letting go, letting go. Call in your higher self. In fact, right now, allow yourself to move down and go into your heart, into your sacred heart space. So drop down into your heart center and imagine opening the door to your own heart, stepping over the threshold and walking inside, calling in your higher self to merge with you in your heart and help you feel and sense love. Letting go, letting go. We're going to deal with now the part of you, that subpersonality, that has you procrastinating, that's affecting you when you don't want it to, especially with projects, with accomplishing, with getting things done. The part of you that has difficulty in accomplishing the tasks you want when you want to. All right. So, relaxing more and more fully now. And now breathe in the energy from above your head. Just imagine it entering through the crown and moving down your body behind your eyes, in front of your spine, all the way down to the base of your spine. And from there, allow the energy to move down into your legs, all the way down your legs and your shins and your ankles and your feet, and even to your toes, all the way down there. That's it. There you go. And now let that energy just move through your body. And now take your awareness to the base of your spine. And from the base of your spine, imagine a beautiful energy cord going all the way down, down, down into the core of the earth. And in the very center of the earth, we have this big, beautiful, high vibrational frequency ball of light. And that ball of light acts as a recycling center. So you can send down any negative energies or thoughts or beliefs, and it can dismantle them. It shifts the energy. It transmutes it into higher energy, higher level positive energies. So let that energy cord connect around that center of the core of the earth and plug right into it. And feel the earth energy. That quiet, slow-moving earth energy. Letting go. You can do it. That's it. And now just sense Mother Earth and her loving support. And feel that loving support coming up, up, up through the earth's crust. That's it. Through the earth's crust. And from there, feel it connecting at the below your feet, your Earth Star Chakra, all the way above your head to your Soul Star Chakra. Feel that energy going up, 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 all the way to the crown, coming back down. And now we're going to put around you that beautiful counterclockwise energy vortex. So counterclockwise goes from your right hand out and front, down, back towards your left, and to the other side, up and around. Okay? May look the reverse on the recording, I don't know. So feel that counterclockwise energy around your body and your auric field. So it's about 3 feet around your body. And let it go all the way down. Imagine it connecting into the core of the earth, spiraling counterclockwise. And we're going to call in Archangel Michael and Raphael and Metatron. Just open, clear, align, and balance all my chakras. So just feel them. Imagine it. Do it with your mind's eye, any way you can imagine it. Letting go counterclockwise of any negative energy, any negative beliefs in your way of being able to shift your patterning with procrastination. So letting it go, letting it go. Let it go out of your tummy. It's in your gut. The gut holds a lot of energy. So I'm going to suggest that you actually release some of the resentments and anger, anything in there that's going on, because I feel stuck energy going on in there from someone or a few of you. Letting it go, letting it go. It's okay. We all have stuff to release. I keep doing it on myself, I assure you. All right, letting it go into the core of the earth, and ask them to keep doing it throughout this call and while you're healing and when you listen to it another time, because you'll have that opportunity. All right. So now that you've let go of this negative energy, I want you to imagine a beautiful beam of light coming from above your head, going through your body, all the way through your body, out the other side, into the earth, and out the other side of the earth, all the way down. Beautiful. And another golden beam of light coming from in front of your heart, out through the back of your heart. And another golden beam of light coming from the left side of your heart, through your heart center and out the other side. And now, just imagine this beautiful golden grid of light, golden grid of grace, really, connecting all the way up, because that's what we plug into the universal web so that you can create what you want. So this is about really getting what you want, all right? Beautiful. All right, so wherever you are, here's what I'd like you to imagine. I'd like you to imagine right now to pull out. We want to separate this procrastination part of you, this subpersonality. So imagine this part of you that keeps procrastinating on what you want to get done. And I want you to imagine to take this part out of you and put it in front of you at least 4 or 5 feet. And this is a part of you that gets in your way, that gets you distracted, gets you doing things that are unimportant instead of what's most important to accomplish. The part of you that gives into, I'm not going to do that now, instead of doing it, and being free of the negative energy that stays with you. Because I bet you've noticed, some of you, that when you don't do what you tell yourself you need to do, it's still on your mind and affecting your energy. So let's pull out this part of you, put it in front of you, and notice how it looks. I want you to notice how old it is. All right? How old is this part of you? Because even though it may be happening now in your life, it may not be where it started. So how old is this part? Okay? And how does it look? What's the expression on its face? Is it feeling guilt? Is it feeling shame? Is it embarrassed? What does it look like? Okay? All right. Now, I want you to notice how much, what's the percentage this part's running you? You know, how much power does it consume of you when it's running you? When this procrastinator part is running you, how much does it consume? 50% of your behavior? All of it? Whatever. Just come up with it. Or ask your higher self to tell you. So I'm going to have your higher self really come in here. All right? Now, we've talked about how it looks and acts. I want you to look at and notice, how does this procrastinator, how does it show up in your life? How does it show up in your daily life now? Or is it just weekly, or just when you have projects, or even when you have to cook dinner or whatever? And really let yourself go into it. Some of you don't see things, you feel things, or some of you hear instead. Some of you get images. Any way it comes to you is fine. But let yourself just imagine how it looks, okay? Now I want you to notice and look at your part that's 4 or 5 feet in front of you, this persona, this procrastinator. What is its main belief? What does it really believe that makes it do this? So what you want to do is look at the habit it does, this procrastinating, and what makes it act like this. Is it fear? Fear of success, fear of failure? Is it feelings of not being good enough? Is it, I just don't want to do it, so there, nah. You know, I sometimes would feel my 4-year-old rebel, nah, I don't want to do something. What is it? All right, focus on it, get clear, good. And now what's the primary feeling you have, the emotion that this persona has? Because when you pull this persona out, all the emotions and feelings and thoughts went with it. So what's the emotion it has? What does it feel? And how is it affecting you? And notice, as you look at it or ask your higher self, where is the emotion located in that persona? All right, now we're going to call on your higher self because we need to go a little deeper here. All right. And I want you to ask and notice, listen carefully, why was this part, this subpersonality created? Was it for survival or protection or control? Get clear on it. That's important. Sometimes it's survival, depending on what you've been through. And sometimes it's really about protecting you or controlling the situation so you don't feel worse. I don't know. What is it for you? And the other thing is, when was this part first created? Because even though you may be doing it now in your life, it wasn't created now. So when was it first created? Was it before, during, or after birth? Just note it. Okay. All right. Now, if it's before birth, just ask inside, was it past life or genealogical? And was it on mom's or dad's side before birth? And then we'll go into this more another time, okay? But if it's during birth or after birth, get clear on that. Maybe you had parts created in the past and parts now in this life. So what age? And get to know, ask, how is this part really supporting me for protection or survival or control? How is it doing that? How does it think it's doing that? Because it may not be doing it in the way you really want, but it's doing what it knows how to do. And probably the pattern started earlier. All right, now this one is for your higher self to answer for you. So go deep, deep inside to your higher self and ask, what is the lesson or the learning this persona, this procrastinator needs to get? What's the lesson? Maybe it's that you're adult now and no one else can control you except you. Maybe it's that you couldn't help what you were doing then, but now you can do something different. What is it for you? All right, now let's take a look at the emotions. Are you ready to release the emotions? Okay, so let's create that counterclockwise energy vortex that we set up at the beginning, going into the core of the earth, and begin releasing, right now, begin releasing those emotions. So begin releasing any guilt you have about procrastinating, any shame, and maybe there's anger and hurt about the way you were treated, which is why you're procrastinating. Maybe rage. So let those emotions go down, 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 out of your body, into the core of the earth so it can burn up and be transmuted. So taking a big breath, blow it out of your body, let it go down, 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 into the core of the earth, letting it go, letting it go. You don't need these feelings. The persona does not need those feelings anymore. Let it go out of your persona's body. And if you're also feeling it in your own body, because I think one or two of you are, then ask your guides to also pull it out of your body directly. All right, so let it go burn up in the core of the earth. And we can even call in the angels, Archangel Michael and Raphael, to pull it out directly from the gut, because there's a lot of feelings going on in the gut today. A lot of old yucky stuff. All right. Resentment. Resentment. A lot of resentment for what's been done to you. Maybe all of you have that, I don't know. But it's quite a bit. So let go of that resentment energy. That resentment energy will keep you stuck because you hold on to it because you feel you have a right to hold on to it. Well, you do, but it's not serving you in your life now. You can't get to fuller joy and pleasure. Okay, let it go. Come on. Let it go counterclockwise into the core of the earth. And for those of you who have trouble letting go that way, just ask the archangels to pull it out of your gut and heart, wherever you're feeling it, and your throat, because you're holding back. Holding back on emotions. And definitely heart pain. Okay, so it's probably childhood stuff that I'm sensing. All right, letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. And you can always go through and do this again and again on your own. Now, keep releasing more. Now, what emotions do you want to fill this persona up with, this procrastinator, her or him up with? I'm going to suggest that we start with love. Because if you feel love, then you feel capable of doing so much more and taking good care of you. So let that love energy come in. Bring it in directly from God above. Let's connect it up with the divine directly so you can bring in that love. So connect it with the divine first. That's it. Now bring in that energy of love. And from the healing angels and your guardian angel, your higher self, they all want to love you. So bring in that love energy directly. That's it. You can do it. Let your heart open. This is about opening love to you. It doesn't have to be to anyone else, just to you. You beautiful being that still has junk going on. That's okay. Let it go. Let that love in. Come on, a little bit more. Let your heart stretch. Your guides are trying to get through to you and bring in more love. Come on. Come on, a little bit more. You can do it. Yes, you deserve it, even though you have some dark thoughts. It's okay. We all deserve it, okay? And when we're hurt enough, we do have a lot of mixed thoughts and feelings and beliefs going on. Righteousness, I'm feeling righteousness, feeling you have a right to be angry and hurt and resentful. Yes, you do, but it's not serving you to keep it there. All right, let it go. Let it go. Now bring in that love. Now, I think another emotion that's important to bring in order to release procrastination, that procrastinator part, is focus. To be able to choose what to focus on. So let the energy of focus come in. See, when you choose to what you want to work with and do, you choose to focus. You focus that energy on what you want to create and do now or achieve, even if it's pay bills. It takes focus and clarity to do it so you don't send the wrong check to the wrong person or even online if you're doing it. All right. So bring in the energy of focus directly from Spirit, from God. Let it go from God directly in through the crown of your head, into your persona's crown of the head, and filling its being with focus in the chest. Let it fill the whole heart. Now the whole torso, let that focus energy fill the torso and fill the whole body now. And let it spread out to the auric field. And now let's bring in one more energy. And I think the energy we're needing to bring in now for the group is determination. Determination to allow yourself to focus, to clear this procrastinator. So let's bring in determination. And I want you to focus on the good things that'll come from clearing this energy. You'll be freer of guilt and embarrassment and shame. And you'll be able to have more positive feelings in your life, positive experiences, good things happening to you. So let's bring in determination. And let determination come in through the crown of your head, directly in your heart. Let it fill your heart. Come on, let's get some determination in there. We need that in order to change patterns. And let it now fill the whole torso and the whole body. Let it spread over into the auric field. Good. And let it mix with that love energy all the way into the auric field. That's it. And focus. And let those energies come to you. Beautiful. Now I want you to notice how the perfectionist has transformed. How has it changed? How is it behaving and looking now? So notice it. Really notice it, okay? All right. And now we have to give this persona a new assignment. You know, you have newly transformed energy. It needs a new job. Before it was keeping you stuck in the procrastinator. Now it needs to change. So I want you to focus on how do you want it to assist you? Do you want it to remind you to love yourself enough so you can stop wasting time or to stop time wasting things so that you can succeed, so that you can get done what you want to, so that you can take care of the tasks you want to. All right. Or do you want it to remind you to get important tasks done first? Maybe that's what you want it to do. Maybe that's the new job for your procrastinator, to remind you to get important tasks done first. Is that what you want? Good. All right. So now that you've given it its new job, its new assignment, shall we say? Job sounds a little negative. Let's say assignment. Or fun work. Maybe it's fun work to remind you. Okay? Are you ready to integrate it back into you? Good. So now imagine bringing back that persona that's been 4 or 5 feet in front of you. Imagine bringing it back inside of you now that it's changed so much. And notice, how does that feel? Taking a big breath and let it go, and let out that sigh of, And I want you to recognize that every day your work gets easier and easier to accomplish. And you feel better every day in every way. And you're going to start getting those little things done and out of the way quicker. The kinds of things that used to sidetrack you and divert you. Now you can get them done more easily. You can complete those tasks easily and comfortably. So you can feel more confident. Just imagine yourself feeling more confident in yourself and your abilities as you approach new things to do and new tasks. Job well done. Good. And I want you to imagine yourself feeling delighted, absolutely delighted in taking action right now. Notice that. You could feel delighted. Just imagine you're being delighted at getting things done more rapidly. Yay! And your new motto? Create a new motto for you. Do it now. That's a good one, right? Do it now. Or you can create your own. I like do it now. And notice, you could even feel pleased with yourself. Pleased with yourself and proud that you've become much more responsible in taking positive actions in your life. All right. Take in a breath and imagine bringing in more pleasure and fun because you know you deserve it. More pleasure and fun. I like that. And so just imagine waking up when you've accomplished a couple of things today that you didn't know you would. That you feel excited waking up tomorrow. Like, ooh, a new day, yay. All right. And right now imagine a beautiful golden beam of light coming from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And imagine it going into every cell of your body, every muscle, every fiber of your being, all the way down to the DNA level and the spiritual DNA level, and all the way back through the past timelines, through the wombs of genealogical and maternal and paternal timelines, everything shifting according to this new truth that is you. And every time we shift something, this is what we do. We bring it back, all the way back to now. And notice how it's creating and sensing in your being that all new neurological pathways are forming and shifting and readjusting, all on the levels emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, and even socially. Everything shifting in the mental body, the old mental constructs falling away, new ones forming. And we're now creating that the old possibility and probability lines are falling away, And new ones are being created from you feeling differently now and allowing this through all space-time, reality, dimensions, and directions, everywhere your spirit and soul are present, everything shifting according to this new truth. That's you. That's it, a new truth. And imagine now your heart moving, your energy moving into the future lifelines and probability lifelines and creating a newer and healthier version of you. Getting all the things done that you want to in the right timing, the perfect timing. And maybe it's creating less on the to-do list so it's easier for you. All right, and thank all your guides and angels and healers that have been with you, and Mother Earth and Father Sky and the Divine Mother and Divine Father. And let's thank them all for being in this space to help heal. And just imagine and feel yourself knowing you will be more productive and working with this, with your inner guides and higher self, and you being fully connected and tuned in and working on your projects. And notice you're enjoying a sense of enthusiasm and pleasure and succeeding in all areas of your life every day with more and more confidence. And you believe you deserve to be wealthy and successful and happy. And now you're ready to make it happen. So now let's imagine taking down the energy vortex, and it just burns up at the core of the earth. And we bring in that energy from God fully above us, and that light goes all the way through our body. And imagine it going into our whole body being, and it goes out to our auric field. And right now, imagine you a beam of light. And imagine now putting up mirrors on the outside of your auric field. So that you feel wiser and safer inside and well taken care of. Coming back, coming back, coming back. Feel yourself here in your chair or wherever you're sitting or lying down on the floor, however you watch this. Coming back, 5, 4, 3. Wiggle your toes. 2, rub your hands together. And 1, taking a big breath and stretch, 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 stretch. Whew. I did not plan on doing this so long, but here we are. Oh my gosh. So let's see who's come online. Oh, we have a number of people who have. Someone asked if I worked with Alan Evelyn Freeman many years ago, and yes, I did. And at Insight. Oh my gosh. Someone from eons ago. Oh my. Yes, it's me. I did both. Yeah, I've gained a lot of processes from both. I loved Alan Evelyn Freeman. They were my first people who taught me things, and that's incredible. What an incredible thing to have someone from that long ago remember me. Well, I'm glad you're here. So, how did that go? Did you get anything from the process? Or share one thing you gained from the process. I would love to hear that or see that. So, if you're willing to write that, that would be fun. Okay. And, well, you may be writing what you gained from the process, even if it's just one thing. I'd love to know, because it lets me know what's useful and helpful for you. What I want you to do is check out my in-person workshop on emotional spring cleaning on May 20th, okay? And it's www.hzharris.com/emotional cleaning. EMOTIONALCLEANING. My website, hzharris.com/emotional cleaning. That's for the in-person workshop. And we are extending the early bird discount until May 11th, whenever that is. Well, today's the 10th. That's till tomorrow. Okay. And I am adding at least one more spot for that 20-minute bonus of a private reading with me. Okay? both for the in-person program and the online program. And for those who want to join us online instead, check out the Emotional Spring Cleaning online workshop, which is going to be Wednesday, May 24th. And that's going to be at www.hzharris.com. Emotional webinar, EMOTIONAL webinar, WEBINAR. Okay, so let's see if anyone answered. I'd love to see what's. No, it's not. It's webinar. It's a webinar. Better be. All right. And that the early bird on that one ends May 12th. All right. I am so glad that you were watching. And I want to share with you a couple of quotes that I like, or one in particular. What I want you to know is when you meet people, you're vibrating and wearing your thinking, even if you don't know you are. Your whole body being, your energy and your energy field is your business card, your calling card, whether it's personal or business, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. That's why I keep working on me. And this is from William Boetker. May not be saying his last name right. Sorry if I'm chopping it up. Your success depends mainly upon what you think of yourself and whether you believe in yourself. You can succeed if nobody else believes in you, but you will never succeed if you don't believe in yourself. That's one of the most important little statements that you can hear because it's so true. So what I want you to take away is loving you, feeling good about you, and hope to see you soon. So I want to thank you very much for watching. And I'll be going live again soon, maybe in a couple of weeks. So be well, be blessed. You are already blessed. And be with God. I don't know why that came through, but it did. All right. So do this, Lisa. Is that what I do?